Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. I'm delighted to be joined by, for her second film at New Filmmakers LA, Jessica Sanders. Thank you for being here with your fantastic movie, The Cocktail Party. But for those that haven't seen it, let's take a look at the clip. Jessica, thank you for bringing your film. I honestly feel that your film was, firstly, I love the style of your film, but secondly, my goodness me, it should be shared around all over the world just to appreciate human beings. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis of your film.
My film is called Cocktail Party. It's a 4.5-minute short film about a cocktail party that turns into an unexpected martial arts action film. And it's starring Charlotte Toshin, who is a black belt in Taekwondo, Eugenia Yuan, who she's actually, her mother's like considered the godmother of martial arts cinema. And she's an Olympic, or she was like in the Olympic team as a ribbon dancer, and a lot of amazing other fun people. So it was like a total joy to make.
Oh, I mean, honestly, it was a joy to watch. Like, honestly, on so many different levels. Firstly, I think a big shout out to all the people that are in service, servers. People on the front line that have to deal with annoying, difficult people. I love that it was like a kickback to that because, my goodness me, people have to deal with a lot of aggro when you're a server. But secondly, I mean, goodness me, you're so good at putting martial art movies together. Like, it was such an experience to watch, and like so much in such a short period of time. It was so entertaining, and there's just so much techniques that I've got want to ask questions about. But for you personally, where did the kind of inspiration start for you in wanting to make this into a film?
I always like to challenge myself and do things I've never done before. So I've always wanted to shoot action and specifically martial arts. I'm also half Chinese, so like kind of exploring some of that history. And then Charlotte is a friend of mine, and she happens to be a black belt in Taekwondo, and also that location, the house, we had full access to. So, incredible talent, insane location, and just how to tell a story with no dialogue and just like really lean into visual storytelling was a challenge, and just having fun with that. And kind of for me, finding the tone that is like really speaks to me, and that it's kind of more action comedy, and that like it is fitting, but it's playful. There's no blood, like no one gets injured. There's like a dumpling fight, or, there's like fuzzy slippers. So I'm really interested in comedy and kind of that interplay. And then I'm also very interested in like power dynamics and abusive power, whether it's, a dumpling being smushed into a carpet and someone relishing in, a server having to pick that up. Like, I think microaggressions are just as powerful to explore as any major injustices. So just kind of, I was excited to lean into all those kind of themes.
I'm so glad you did lean to all of those things. My goodness me. I mean, I think firstly, it didn't need dialogue. It was such a visual, wonderful piece of cinema to watch. I was just ready. I was just like in it, the whole time. Now, obviously, sometimes, in these contexts, I mean, there was obviously amazing martial arts and fighting in there, but you managed to find your lead, who's a black belt in Taekwondo. Were you always looking for someone that had experience, in martial arts, or did that come how did that all work out and bring your cast together?
Well, Charlotte is a friend of mine, so I think it just like knowing her talent, and also I believe in her as an actor, so like wanting to like make something that would like celebrate and kind of highlight her. I'm also a commercial director, so at the time my commercial company was like, why don't you make something that's gonna like be different? So I was like, oh, actually I've always wanted to do like this martial arts film. So it just kind of came from this kind of unexpected inspiration of doing something I've always wanted to do. And then just like the creative team, like Larkin Steeple, who shot like This Is America, that Childish Gambino video, is like one of my favorite cinematographers. He's a visual storytelling genius, I think, in our collaboration together. and with my editor Monica Salazar, who edited Honey Boy. Like it was just a total creative dream come true. And the Brazilian composer Pedro Bronfman is my longtime composer, and so the score is entirely percussion. So really using like percussion as a way to accent emotion and drama and comedy. And also Mia Doi Todd, who's like a longtime Los Angeles based singer songwriter, did like a song in the film too. So it was just kind of like a collection of like, in terms of like a party, like the coolest cocktail party that the coolest and also most like aggro cocktail party you could ever attend. So, but in terms of like all the creative teammates and actors, it's all that everyone's like friends because we shot it during the pandemic. So it had to be very like kind of a tight knit creative expression, but it was so much fun to make.
I mean, you had some super talented people in there. My goodness me, like all the projects you mentioned. I mean, what a fantastic team that you had together. Honestly, I just again, I thought that it makes a lot of sense that you've come from a commercial directing background because it was such a crisp, like it was the production design, like everything was just like spectacular to kind of watch. What now, listen, obviously, I love you said a mention about challenging yourself and like moving into new genres. And I love that you mentioned the film festival that, this is kind of a genre you really want to move more into as well. But like, what was like making your first kind of martial arts? Like, what was that experience like for you? What were kind of the challenges that you had when you made it?
I mean, like I said, I like exploring and pushing myself creatively. So I had done this before. It took me like 3 fight choreographers to find Jay Quang, who was my fight choreographer. And just like all of my creative teammates, my producer, Patricia Seeley, who's like longtime producing partner, I'm always like finding new creative teammates, but just like finding people that I'm really into like open dialogue, collaboration, like sharing ideas and kind of like creating a safe space to just have fun and explore ideas. So because we got shut down actually during the pandemic, I kind of prepped it for a year and a half. So it's a 4.5 minute film, but it's so like prepared. And like, I think that comes across in the storytelling. And then that's what you feel when you see it. Cause it's like, it's been very, we did not shoot like an extra frame. It was like very deliberate. It was like I said, it was like origami and how it was edited. It was just like, even Monica, my editor, she was like, it was like the fastest thing it was just so much fun to cut together. And it came together kind of perfectly because we didn't have time or space to like kind of overshoot anything at all. So it was all highly like thought about. And that's kind of my favorite type of filmmaking. I also come from a documentary background, which is like the opposite of this as well, but also you have to be open to the unexpected. So I come from like a lot of different kind of influences.
No, I love hearing all of this, and when you're I mean, firstly, it was beautifully cut. Like I can imagine you had a lot of fun, putting this together. So credit to you and your editing team. But also, some of the reactionaries from all this is so brilliant. Like the timing, the comedic timing, like all of that kind of stuff. And I'm just curious as a director, like when you're working with like and again, credit to everybody. The whole ensemble just gave something different and special. And these particular characters that you're like, oh goodness, it's this guy, or or whatever it may be. How did you work with your actors in that sense? In terms of getting those looks, because they were very distinctive and they were really important to make sure they partake in the way that they did.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte, like I said, because we developed it for so long, and I know she worked with her acting coach, and we had a lot of discussions about like kind of the arc of her character of someone who like doesn't speak up, who isn't like in her power yet. And through the arc of this journey, she actually like finds her voice, finds her power, like literally kicks at, so like we, even though there's no dialogue, like really developing that kind of emotional arc. And then like, for instance, the rude guy with the dumpling, that's actually a director, a friend of mine, Dugan O'Neill. I don't know if you know him, but he's hilarious. And like just his reactions, like of being just like a total jerk and like relishing his power over this cocktail server. Like we just did so many different versions, and he just like, we're just laughing on set. Like it was just, I just, like give people, hopefully like you find the right people, but then empower them to kind of just have fun and like give you options. But yeah, it's all for me. It's also very much about casting. So just finding the right people. And then once you have the right people, and it kind of all kind of comes together really beautifully.
No, definitely. It was nice you've got friends that you brought into the project, because it's a lot easier working with friends as well, obviously. So yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, what is next for you?
Good question. I have a feature that I'm writing right now that's like exploring this martial arts space. And then my last short film that I screened with you guys called End of the Line, which is about a little man purchased, or 2-inch man bought in a cage at a pet shop. I'm expanding on that with another project, and I don't, just always open to new ideas and inspirations. But yeah, I have some long-term projects that I like kind of am pushing forward right now. So I'm excited about. I know the pandemic for me has been like a good time to like go inward and just kind of embrace all the weird stuff that is in my brain. So, and this is one of the things that have come out. So
I love it. I love it. And just to lastly finish on, you obviously got a lot of experience in many different, genres of film, from documentaries to commercials to this wonderful cocktail party. Is there any kind of for filmmakers out there that are watching? Is there any kind of advice or things that you go by that sort of support you in your artist journey? Is there anything you'd like to share with our audience?
I mean, for me, I just keep on being reminded to have like faith in myself and my own like inspirations and desires. I think we all of us have our own unique perspectives on the world, and like being like celebrating, protecting, and like leaning into like what makes us unique.
Mm-hmm.
And then finding your teammates who support you and support me. For me, it's all about finding people that are positive, who like we can all make something even better together. And so just like finding really good people that I work well with. So I just encourage people to just find your teammates.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'm excited that there's more martial art films coming our way with you, Jessica, and looking forward to your third film with us. But best successes with the writing right now that you're working on. And thank you so much for bringing the cocktail party to us. It's really was a special piece to watch. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for screening it, and thanks so much for putting this amazing festival together. I really appreciate it.